Yes, yes.
About this part, actually, is it important to have every year autocross, or just to have the blood refresh and carry on your blood?
I would say yes, it is very important to keep fresh bloodlines, even if it's not the best bird. Fresh bloodline is very important, just to have something else running as a new line. Because say if you use your line for 2 years, 3 years, you are going to become to the stage where you have to inbreed. Whereas if you have fresh bloodline, you have different families running everywhere, which is important.
So you will use the average bird, or just normal birds from other lines, or have to be something quality?
No, we've used average birds before, and we still will continue, because if there's say if we go to visit somewhere in the UK, they have hens for sale. You could buy the best hen in there, and she won't breed. But I like to look at hens. Me personally, I like to look at hens that look like they will breed. They look fit. They carry all their flights, their tails. Because if I bring that hen home, she is going to one of our best cocks. Because there's the better chance to breed a super bird, or a bird with fresh bloodline from both lines. So you don't always have to go buy the best birds. Everyone wants to do that, but it's not about that. If you create new bloodlines, you can. If you pair, say, one of our birds to a Richard Miller bird, you can create a much better bird. They might not look good, but they can create, because the bloodlines make an explosion to become better. It's everyone does the same.
But don't you think when people using an average bird from any names, just a look, or just average, they will still stay on the same circuit of the average bird, or there's a chance to breed something better?
I think, again, this is an opinion, you do have a better chance of breeding better birds if you mix between another breeder to another breeder. It doesn't have to have a high name. If you create a fresh bloodline, that bloodline could be a super bloodline. You don't know until you try. And sometimes it can cost you not a lot of money, which, again, not many people have lots of money to spend on birds, but sometimes it's worth a chance of mixing two just average birds together to see what you get.
Yes. So you are not recommended as a beginner to stay in one line, or stay with just one name?
As beginner, I would focus on, say, a high line, and maybe a few other lines, maybe 2 different lines. Don't just stick to one person, because if you stick to one person, you know the type of bird you're going to breed. If you're happy with that, then use them. But you ultimately need fresh bloodline. So maybe use a few, even if you have a friend who you want to swap birds with. If you're going to swap a bird with them, make sure you put that bird to your best bird, because you're giving that new bloodline a better chance of creating your best available bird. So that's what I would advise.
Do you think that a bird with maybe 30 or 25 breeding cages will breed a good show bird, or have to be large number to breed show bird, or show, like we said, is strong show team?
So are you meaning the quantity of cages that you use?
The quantity of the cages, yes.
Well, with using more cages, you're increasing your chances to breed more and better budgies. It's not always the way. You can have 30 breeding cages and be pairing pets. You can pair them up, they will breed. But you've got to slowly increase the quality of birds, and the way we all do it is by buying outcrossers. So
so might some people have just 30 cages and all like 30 super cocks, 30 very good hens, and focus. Might be he have also a good chance to breed something good.
Yeah, yes, definitely he has. But all them 30 supercocks, you're gonna have a percentage of them that might not breed. So you need reserve cocks. And we are a big believer in having surplus stock, because you don't know how your breeding team is going to perform. For example, this year it hasn't been so good. We split up maybe March time, probably maybe end of February. We cleaned everywhere, and then we paired 12 pairs in the small bedroom to keep numbers going. And that has bred very, very well since end of March. But then that was from birds that weren't being planned to be paired up. We've got birds now that are nearly 18 months old and not being used because we shut down breeding. So they are now being prepared to be paired up in the next couple of weeks.
Nowadays, starting the budgie hobby is like we said is very costly a hobby. So especially from the overseas people. So overseas people, because they pay not just to have the bird, might be have the shipping cost, quarantine, and all these issues. So do you think that the money will be key to be a success breeders or a champion, or to have to be a smart how to deal with the birds and how to pair them is more more important?
I suppose we are very fortunate in the UK because shipping costs is not very expensive. We're in the other side of the world where people try and buy, they want to buy from Europe or the UK, so they have to put these charges into effect. And you are right, it does become very costly. When we've sent birds to Pakistan and India, we have found that we try and be fair with birds. We might be expensive to some people, but we might not be expensive to other people. We try and be fair with people. We don't try and rip people off. But it's a difficult question because other exhibitors charge different prices to what we would.
I understand that, tired, because you're also paying a lot for the birds. You are feeding them. You are making many bills, like the electricity, water, everything. So you have to something. I understand that, but because some fancier said it will cost me that amount to have some pairs like that, and it will cost me that amount. So as you said before, I think when they focus on the just a line and little bit don't see the quality to start with, then they can improve themselves in the future.
That's it. It becomes very impatient. People become impatient when they aren't breeding super birds straight away. And that's where it can become. That's where people quit. It's like everything in life. If you're not good at it straight away, it's like playing golf. If you are not good at golf for 6 months, you give up. You're not going to play. Whereas same with budgies, if you are patient and you have a savings pot, say if you work for 1 year, you earn X amount of money, you save small amounts of money for birds to buy every year. This is what my dad did in the early days. He would work his bum off to extent where he would make savings, And these savings would be strategically at the right place. He would drive to Joe Mann's every year and he would buy birds. Whereas the guys overseas, they don't have that option to drive, or they have to take the factor in that shipping cost per bird is part of the process. Where, say, if a UK breeder is starting off, they come buy birds, they buy 10 birds, we give them 16 birds to help them out. Whereas we can't do that to overseas people, because the birds that we give for free are costing them the shipping cost. And sometimes they aren't happy with the extra shipping cost. If they want to, then that's fine. We can offer that as well. But the birds aren't going to be as good as quality as the birds they bought, but they still have good bloodline. They want the birds to look super to use, which is fine. But I would always say, if you're buying birds, give some lesser birds a chance, because sometimes they can surprise you. If you're breeding with 12 cages, say it's a small setup, you need quantity before quality. You need to breed a lot of numbers. You need to have reserves. Because if you have 12 breeding cages, you go into a breeding season with 50 birds, that isn't enough. Because some of them will fail. So if 20 birds fail, you don't have enough birds to breed you through the next season. So you need to have lesser birds in the aviaries, in the space that you have, to create success. It's very difficult with smaller studs, I understand. But don't be afraid to use lesser birds, because you need the numbers for reserves in the future.
One of the question is the Lutinos. Is it important to have deep colors, or is it the quality is important than the deep color?
The quality defeats the color all the time for us. We've won many shows with Lutinos that aren't the right color. People are obsessed with color, which ultimately, if the bird is quality, it doesn't have to have a deep color. Obviously, we like to breed the Lutinos with lovely color, but we don't focus on color. We never have, and we never will. We focus on the budgie first. You get more points from the bird being a quality budgie than you do in the color. It's a simple fact. So don't focus on Lutinos being the right color. They're yellow at the end of the day. It can be deep or dark, light. It doesn't matter.
One of the guys, he said about the feather problems, if there is feather cysts or birds with might be losing some feathers, like the pairs that their youngest have some cyst or having feather problem. Is there a way to handle this, or to treat this, or just break them and that's it?
No, I wouldn't. We don't break them. We tend to try. We make an effort to repair the birds. Because we have so many, it's difficult to manage the cysts, because some birds don't get picked up for a few months. They are in the flight, resting, having fun, so we don't always see cysts developing. And going back, as we said earlier, the birds are getting bigger, so we are getting more feather problems, but we are trying remedies in the feed, and that is to help the feather growth. We use various different powders or supplements, which I'm happy to share. If people want to ask me questions, I'm open to answer. They can message me privately, and I can answer them if they want to know more. But then when they do have cysts, we squeeze them, and then we treat them with other products. There's a horse antiseptic spray that we use, which we've only just started using in the past 12 months, and we are getting very good results from it. They squeeze out. The feathers don't grow back, but the cyst does not return. So again, I can share this product with whoever wants to know.
Yes, yes, yes. Please, if any time you can, just send it to me, and I will share it with the guys, because they might have some problem with connected with you, you know, to translate and all that.
No, that's fine. That's total. That's fine. Yeah, that's okay.
About the long flights, don't think that some judges maybe don't penalize them or keep them or let them win sometimes? It's not happening in UK actually. There are some, you know, strict in a way or another, and there is also, before maybe a year or two, also there is a show. They said we will have a only class for these long flights or something like that.
Well, it could be an idea. It could be an idea, but if you look at the budgie guard, what is supposed to, the tails are not long. Cockatiels, they have long tails. Different types of birds. Parrots, they have long tails.
Yes.
Budgies, they have tails, but they're only supposed to go maybe this far past the underflights. It could be an idea to put them in a class, but if they win best in show, people won't be happy. People will be very sad. It's not the budgie. It's not the budgie type.
One of the guys, he said most of the time the best bird, there is no fertility on them. Do you have an answer to this issue? Yeah.
Well, that used to happen to us. We couldn't figure out why it was, because they weren't inbred. It's a difficult question to answer. We've gone to more of a stylish bird now. So back years ago when that used to happen, the best birds, they were big and buff birds. So if they're big and buff birds, you've got to think they can't jump on the back of the hen. They can't mate. It's like a human. A big fat man is going to struggle to have sex. So it's, with a small lady, it's very difficult. So the same with budgies, they can't hold the weight of the big birds. So you have to find the balance of them being a strong, healthy hen to your best birds.
I think we're done from the question, Joe. Thank you very much.
No,
it's very nice to have you here.